Welcome to Fox 54 Weekend Review. I'm Kenesha Dees. It's the only place in North Alabama to get the week's local headlines condensed into one program. This week's big story, it's almost time for kids to go back to school. We've talked to districts across the Tennessee Valley about what students and their families can expect this year from new leadership to enhance security and safety. Tonight, we hear from Huntsville City School Superintendent Dr. Clarence Sutton, head of the largest school district in North Alabama. In this one-on-one conversation, we address the area's growth and campus safety ahead of the new school year. Here's a listen.
Well, we keep implementing our security protocol. We're blessed to be in Huntsville, where we have a lot of support, that we have weapon detection systems at every school. We also have our own campus security officers, and we have at least one or two in every school. In the Huntsville City Schools, so we can monitor students in and out, also the parking lot. Mainly, we're trying to communicate safety protocols at home, what to avoid, how to monitor your students, and then how to communicate. We're blessed in those few cases we had last year that somebody tipped us off.
And would you even say that Open Gate was helpful in being able to detect those weapons? I mean, it worked.
Open Gate works, and I'm more proud of our people who monitored Open Gate because they were doing their job. They were on task. They saw it quickly was remedied. We quickly communicated and we solved the issue.
How do you all plan to work with the city council in accommodating the extra families, extra homes that will be moving here?
Again, even with the growth, is communication. We meet with the city once a month. Their team comes and meet with us with a board and give us updates. And we plan. Part of our capital plan really had this growth prepared for moving sixth graders to McNair with a new wing. Now we have room in our elementary schools on that side of town. Also, we have Jemison High School with our CTE programs moving to our new center near the central office. We have space in Jemison High School. So we really, as a board, as a community, being proactive, but it came from communication. And I'm thankful for the city always including us in their communication.
Dr. Sutton says he plans to keep the standard of excellence for Huntsville City Schools. The first day of school is next Wednesday, August 5th. Dozens of safety patrol aides in Huntsville are getting ready for the new school year, and they're urging you to watch out. In addition to the bright vests, whistles, and exaggerated motions, Huntsville police will be watching local school zones for all kinds of traffic violations, from speeding to distracted driving and even ignoring safety patrol staff. HPD will be keeping a close eye on the carpool line as part of its Zero in the Zone initiative.
Slow down, pay attention. These kids are important, whether they're important to you or their parents or their grandparents. These children are important, you know, no matter how old, no matter how young. It doesn't matter if they're at high school or if they're in pre-K. Their lives are important, so them getting an education is important.
HPD says to help keep students safe, slow down and leave early to avoid being in a rush. Stay alert while you're on the road and in local school zones. Don't cut through parking lots or around school buses. And remember to put the phone down. Students across the Tennessee Valley will go back to school as early as next week. Morgan County students will hear the bell ring for the first time on August 12th, but the prep work from faculty well underway. Fox 54's Gabe Glassman spoke with Morgan County Superintendent as the new school year approaches.
Soon enough, Morgan County students will be returning to the classroom. Superintendent Tracy Turrentine says the excitement for day one never seems to change.
We worked really hard over the summer and to get things ready for them with new plans, new ideas, and so it's always good to see them return back to the classroom.
Superintendent Turrentine says Morgan County Schools has been working hard ahead of the new year. Turrentine says their admin conference begins on Tuesday, going over safety, culture, and instruction. Safety improvements have been developing in the district in recent months, especially with the implementation of AI-powered weapons detection systems in schools.
This summer, what we've been doing is a lot of training. We've worked with EMA. They've came in at several different schools across the county and worked with them and our SWAT team. So we're just trying right now to network with the people that, you know, if we needed first responders, that make sure they know where they're going and what they're doing once they get here.
AI isn't just being used to secure student safety. It's also being utilized in the classroom. Turrentine says they've been using their school AI program since last year.
We knew, it's something that's not going away. Many school systems talk about whether we should take it, embrace it, or or push it away. And we just decided, if we're preparing our kids the correct way, then we need to embrace it. Our teachers use it for some lesson planning, and they'll also, specialize their instruction for students. Like if their kids in 8th grade, but they read on a 3rd grade level, they can take a passage, put it in there, and have it make it where it's on their reading level.
While day one is approaching for Morgan County schools, Turrentine says the future of the school system is exciting with multiple facility upgrades countywide. In Morgan County, Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Superintendent Turrentine says the feedback on their AI program has been positive. She adds the district has also placed an importance on engaging with students, maximizing learning opportunities.
The Madison County school system is rapidly growing, and officials are working hard to keep up. That's why the first new school in over a decade was officially added to the system today. The ribbon was cut for Sparkman Intermediate School this morning, meaning when the school year starts, the school will become the new home for 4th, 5th, and 6th graders in northern Madison County. Superintendent Ken Kubik tells us this new school was desperately needed as Madison County grows.
It's all moving north, and it's north of 53, and that's where we're at. So when we had this land here, we decided this was the best place because it alleviates overcrowding at Harvest Elementary School, Madison Crossroads Elementary School, and also Sparkman Middle School. So by taking some grades out of those, we're able to give them some more room. So basically, this new school is helping out 3 other schools that we currently have, in our district.
The first day of school for Madison County schools in Sparkman Intermediate School is August 5th.
It's back to school season, and today we head out to Limestone County to see how the district is preparing for the upcoming school year. As the fastest growing county in the state, more families means more students. Fox 54's Logan Alexandra Russell caught up with Superintendent Dr. Randy Shearhouse, who shares the district's latest expansion efforts.
The start of school is just around the corner, and Limestone County Schools is ramping up its preparations for the 2026-27 academic year. And as more families move to the area, more students than ever are joining the school system. Superintendent Dr. Randy Shearhouse says the district is already preparing for the steady rise on the east side of the county.
It's going to be a couple-year project at East Limestone High School. The east side of the county is growing, and we want to make sure we have room for our students that are coming in to East Limestone High School, and so we're building some additional classrooms.
In addition to the expansion efforts, Dr. Shearhouse says the front entrance of the school will have a new look as well as the classrooms.
We're also renovating the facility, so the front entrance will have a new look. Classrooms are getting remodeled, new lights, ceiling tiles, but it is a 2-year project. And so right now it looks like it has a long way to go, and it does.
But even though the population is increasing, there are no current plans to build any new schools in the area.
Right now we have enough room space to accommodate what we need. We're actually going to start building on at Creekside as well. We're going to have an addition there. And so with building on here at East and Creekside, I think we can accommodate the growth for years to come.
Dr. Shearhouse says, as a reminder, the first couple of days of school are always busy, so be sure to allow extra time during drop-off and pickup, and as always, have patience. In Limestone County, Logan Alexandra Russell, Fox 54 News.
Dr. Shearhouse says the district only expects to grow about 50 students this school year, but they're preparing for years to come. Limestone County school students return to class August 6th. The first day of school right around the corner, in Decatur City Schools is focusing on providing transportation for thousands of students across the district. As preparations continue for the upcoming school year, district leaders say they're working to ensure bus routes run smoothly despite rising fuel costs. Fox 54's Logan Alexandra Russell shares what you need to know about the school's plans.
Preparing for a new school year means getting classrooms cleaned, floors waxed, and teachers ready. But before learning can take place, Decatur City Schools has to ensure thousands of students have a safe way to get to school. However, getting buses on the road has a growing concern as fuel costs continue to peak across North Alabama. But Superintendent Dr. Michael Douglas says those prices will not affect bus routes.
Yes, we are concerned about the price of gas. It is going up, but that won't impede our ability to get children to school. No plan to reduce routes. We're going to provide the same amount of routes we always have.
While bus routes are secured for the first day of class on August 6th, having a full staff of bus drivers remains a battle throughout the year. Unexpected illnesses and substitute staffing shortages are among the hurdles faced during the school year, prompting the district's constant call for bus drivers.
Always need drivers. We've got enough for the first day of school. It's always when somebody's sick, somebody's routinely sick, but we've had a lot of very creative ways to get out and recruit bus drivers, but we would welcome anybody that, if you're retired and you want a good second job and some flexible hours, we're always looking for good bus drivers.
With new drivers, new students, and adjusted routines, school officials are asking parents for patience during those first few days of drop-off and pickup. They say traffic delays are common early on, but routines typically smooth out within the first week. In Decatur, Logan Alexandra Russell, Fox 54 News.
Dr. Douglas also reminds you and your students to complete those summer assignments. This way teachers and students can get right to work on the first day of school. Madison City Schools officially has a new superintendent ahead of the upcoming school year. During a special called meeting this afternoon, and you can hear the applause, the school board unanimously voted for current interim superintendent Eric Terrell to become the district's permanent superintendent. Terrell first joined the district back in 2004, serving as a teacher, and then served as assistant principal and principal before being appointed as an assistant superintendent in 2017. Terrell takes over for Dr. Ed Nichols, who retired earlier this year. Terrell says it means a lot to have the school board backing him.
The work that we're doing, we're on the right track, right? But we're going to keep searching for new things to do. We're going to keep searching on what is right for our community as it pertains to educating our students. But having the whole school board behind me lets me know that I have their faith, I have their commitment that we will continue to work together to do what is right for the students of Madison City Schools.
Congratulations. Terrell adds he plans to work closely with parents and apologizes for the future late night phone calls from him. School starts next week for the majority of the Tennessee Valley, and for those walking through the doors for the first time, they need to show they're vaccinated for multiple diseases. Those vaccines include DTaP, polio, MMR, and chickenpox. This Wellness Wednesday, Fox 54 spoke with state health officials and local doctors to learn why these vaccinations are so important for students.
As a pediatrician of 49 years, I can say that I have seen a lot of diseases go away in my career as the result of successes of immunizations.
Dr. Karen Landers with the Alabama Department of Public Health made it clear vaccines can help save lives, and as your kids prepare to head back to school, that needed certificate of immunization helps stop outbreaks. Dr. Alexandria Anderson, a pediatrician with Happy Health, says immunization isn't just about one child.
It's important because a lot of the times when you're exposed with multiple kids, everyone has their different medical conditions, right? Not all kids can be immunized for whatever reason. So it could be because they have some form of medical condition that prevent them. So the kids that can get immunized, then it offers what we call like a herd immunity. So just recommending vaccines is good for you, but it also is good for the others who are unable to get vaccine.
If you have safety concerns, Dr. Landers tells us the vaccines have been in use for more than 70 years.
When we look at the overall effectiveness of vaccines, again, they're generational vaccines. They've been around a long time. They have a good safety profile. A lot of the parents probably took these vaccines themselves because, again, many of these vaccines started to be given in the 50s and 60s.
And parents, we know it can be nerve-wracking for kiddos to see and feel those needles. Here's some advice.
Seeing your baby cry, it can be traumatizing, obviously, for the child, but for the parent. So just to give them the comforting measures, like, hey, if you see the swelling, if you see the redness, this is what you can do. It does offer them some form of comfort. And honestly, popsicles they're cures for everything. A child can be crying, you give them a popsicle, and all of a sudden, they're good.
Yeah, some good tips there. Check out our full interviews with Dr. Landers and Dr. Anderson on the Fox 54 app. Download on your TV, watch for free. Also in the news, it's not just the population that's expanding in the Tennessee Valley. The things that support residents from infrastructure to entertainment are growing too. We took a look at major power and water treatment projects, new developments in the city of Madison, and how music and art are raising Huntsville's profile. A proposed battery storage project could soon become a new tool for Huntsville utilities to help manage growing energy demands. Tonight, residents had the chance to learn how the project would work, why it's planned for North Huntsville, and what it could mean for their utility bills. The battery would weigh more than 83,000 pounds and stand about the size of the back end of a semi-truck, like this. Fox 54's Valentina Chalala was at tonight's community meeting where Huntsville utilities explained how something this big could help power the city more efficiently.
Think of this like when you fill your water bottle up in the morning. You store what you need ahead of time, so it's there when you need it later. Huntsville Utilities says this battery would work in a similar way, storing electricity beforehand, so it's available when demand reaches its peak. Huntsville Utilities says the proposed 2-megawatt battery could reduce strain on the grid, lower costs, and help keep future rate increases more stable.
What we're trying to do is find simple things that we can do as a utility to lower our operating costs so that we're not getting into people's wallets and pocketbooks near as much.
HU says this wasn't the only site considered, but Stringfield was chosen because it experiences high demand and already has the space needed for the battery.
Most of them do tend to be in the North Madison County area because they use a lot of electric heat during the winter rather than natural gas heat, and that's when those high spikes typically occur.
Councilmember Michelle Watkins says because the project would be located in her district, she wanted residents to have the opportunity to ask questions before any construction begins.
It's important for us to have adequate infrastructure in place for our utilities. It's just that, I do have some concerns about the battery. It can catch fire and it has to burn out. It's not something that the fire department can put out for you.
Data suggests there's about a 0.1% chance of a fire, and if one were to occur, it would most likely happen during manufacturing or when the battery is taken out of service, not during normal operation.
Because of the chemistry of the battery, it almost makes it impossible to put out. It has to burn out. So what we do is we monitor perimeter.
HU says the system should last 10 to 15 years, and once construction begins, installation is expected to take between 6 months to a year. In Huntsville, I'm Valentina Chalala, Fox 54 News.
This project has already been approved by City Council and the Utilities Board, but officials say they wanted to share an environmental review that found the battery would have negligible impacts, including virtually no noise or toxic emissions, before moving forward. More than $5 million going to the town of Ardmore for a new water treatment plant expected to serve more than 1,000 people. The funding comes from Representative Dale Strong, who secured the money from the fiscal year's community project funding. It'll serve the community with clean drinking water and backup water for the town's emergency response. The funding comes less than a year after the town was temporarily disconnected from the Limestone County Water Authority, leading to a water crisis that left residents scrambling for drinking water. According to Congressman Dale Strong, it's a critical addition to the town's infrastructure.
They couldn't grow their community. They could not. You start trying to go without water. Last thing you want to do is to have a fire or have an emergency situation, but also safe drinking water. We've got to be sure that we've got that throughout our country, and especially here in Ardmore. This expansion is going to be big for them, not just today, but also in the days ahead.
In addition, it will make Ardmore compliant with new regulations from the Environmental Protection Agency, limiting forever chemicals or PFAS in the water supply.
In small towns, you have a small tax base, and sometimes that well runs dry, and you have to make sure that you have to manage it right. But we have to do lot of stuff to be able to make sure our water is safe. And so this is going to help us do that with that treatment plant and so forth. So we'll be able to we'll be able to take care of the water, and I think we're going to be in good shape.
The move is also decreasing Ardmore's reliance on water purchased from Limestone County and Tennessee, with an estimated groundbreaking at the start of next year. The city of Madison coming out of left field tonight with some big announcements for Toyota Field and the recently announced SEC Softball Championship being held there next year. The Madison City Council just hours ago unanimously approved a new hotel and mini golf course in town Madison, meant for families coming into town to watch the big games. In addition, they approved a 1% lodging tax increase for visitors staying in local hotels. Mayor Renee Bartlett describes the benefit for softball fans and the city of Madison.
Look at what else is coming right next to the Aloft Hotel. We're going to have a recreational item there. We're going to have retail space, restaurants were mentioned tonight. And so that only helps the entire town Madison region and the city of Madison generate even more sales tax and lodging tax to help the city. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready because there will be more announcements coming very soon.
Yeah, well, according to city officials, the increased revenue will go toward the city's general fund for future use. The city of Huntsville has released its 2026 music audit, its first since 2018, and the results show the Rocket City is striking the right chord. According to the audit, music consultancy Sound Diplomacy found that more than 3,000 jobs were supported in Huntsville thanks to the music scene. That same scene is also bringing more than $275 million in economic output, with 40 music exhibition spaces added since 2018. For the City of Huntsville Music Officer Matt Mandrella, he says it's been amazing to see Huntsville embrace music.
You know, you can't really have shows without fans, and so, you know, just the appetite for everything across the board with arts to big shows, small shows, everything from youth sports to professional sports to big conferences. You know, Huntsville comes out and our community comes out and supports events. And at the end of the day, like, the community is the reason that we're delivering what we're doing with the music office and why it's successful.
Find the full results of the 2026 music audit on our website, FOX54.com. And following the recent audit, the City of Huntsville invited its artists to a quarterly music meetup. There, local musicians got the chance to meet, mingle, and network with other industry professionals located right here in the Tennessee Valley. For them, it's a chance to celebrate yet another milestone in the Huntsville music scene, which they say is quickly becoming a music city of its own. Take a listen.
I'm just very pleased that I can make an actual living of my passion and my job, and I can put so much more effort into what I'm actually doing and the art of it instead of worrying about, can I pay my bills? Am I going to be able to eat tomorrow? And it's pretty unique to be able to say that.
Wow, well, local musicians at the venue say Huntsville is doing everything it can to support local music and the people who make it. A special exhibition of a 20th century art icon is opening tomorrow at the Huntsville Museum of Art. Warhol, film, fashion photography brings some of Andy Warhol's greatest works to the Rocket City. This exhibit, which was curated by the museum, features Warhol's work such as Campbell's Soup, Flowers, and Marilyn Monroe, of course. For Chief Curator Natalie Mead, this has been a project 4 years in the making. She says that this exhibit will showcase Warhol in a different light.
It's not an exhibition that was organized by another institution. It was something that we put together. So we're the ones who told that story. This is a different presentation of the artist's works. It's not just his pop icon works. It's not just his photographs. It is a combination of the works that rarely travel to other institutions because of their fragility, as well as the works that you can instantly recognize and get excited about.
Warhol Film Fashion Photography opens to the public tomorrow and runs through October 18th. When the Huntsville Havoc returns to the VBC this October, they'll be hitting brand new ice. One of the last remaining original fixtures of the Von Braun Center is now under renovation as the old ice system is now being replaced. When FOX54 visited the Probst Arena today, over 6 miles of piping was in the process of being laid down for the new system. Samantha Nielsen with the VBC tells us it's exciting to see the fans and the city help invest in the arena.
The fans keep coming out. They come game after game and selling out the games. And it's exciting for us to be able to, not only with our VBC leadership and our Board of Control, but also just through the city leadership, continue investing and seeing this as a true gem of Huntsville. You know, we're right in the heart of downtown, so making sure, even though we're a more than 50-year-old facility, you don't know that when you come in the building.
The arena floor is expected to be refilled with concrete next Tuesday. The Havoc's home opener set for October 23rd. Huntsville residents can now set foot on a 15-mile continuous loop as part of the latest extension to the city's Greenway network. Check it out. The Tennessee River Greenway extension opened today. runs from Redstone Road to Green Cove Road in South Huntsville, connecting you to the Aldridge Creek Greenway, Ditto Landing, and the Tennessee River. From walking to biking to even a day on the river, officials say the Greenway provides an attractive place for exercise.
To have this kind of continuous loop is really unique. We had a lot of bikers out here today. They were excited about it. I've talked to people who have already biked it, even before it was paved and it was all bumpy, because they don't get that kind of safe access right through the middle of nature. So it's just apparently a marvelous experience. I'm looking forward to trying it myself.
Yeah, and if you're interested in trying it out, you can find the new Greenway right next to Redstone Arsenal's Gate 3. More than 2 years after a hands-free driving ordinance took effect in Huntsville, some people are still driving phone in hand. We have a reminder about how important this law is. The beginning of this year marked 2.5 years since Huntsville's hands-free law went into effect. The ordinance, sponsored by City Council President David Little, with the help of HPD, was voted into law October 12 of 2023 and has been keeping drivers safe ever since. The law would take full effect starting January 1st of 2024. 2.5 years later, Fox 54's Logan Alexandra Russell reminds us of the law's key takeaways and how the law is personal for the bill's sponsor.
The beginning of July marked 2.5 years since Huntsville's hands-free law went into effect. Today, we're sharing a refresher on what this law is and why it's so crucial to everyone's safety. The law allows law enforcement to treat a handheld device violation as a primary offense instead of a secondary one. Under the city's previous no-text ordinance, officers needed another reason to pull over a driver before issuing a citation for distracted driving. Now you can be pulled over and cited for simply having a cell phone in your hand. But the Huntsville Police Department says distracted driving still remains a major cause of crashes.
There's been multiple times being on scenes where people driving by want to take a video or a picture. Next thing you know, we hear another collision where they've rear-ended the person in front of them who may be doing the same thing or just trying to go slow.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports more than 315,000 people were injured by distracted drivers in 2024. City Council President David Little sponsored the ordinance when it was first introduced back in 2023. He says the issue hits close to home.
My family was involved in a crash in 2008 that was caused by a person that was texting and driving. And I was the one who was injured, spent a couple weeks in the hospital, several months in a wheelchair recuperating. And then over the years started learning more and more about the problem of texting and driving.
HPD reminds you that it's illegal to hold or use any wireless devices while behind the wheel, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, and GPS units. In Huntsville, Logan Alexandra Russell, Fox 54 News.
To learn more about what the law prohibits and exemptions, check out our website, fox54.com. Let's wrap up with some history from around the valley. Temple B'nai Shalom celebrated 150 years in Huntsville. The historic Huntsville Times building celebrated 100 years since construction began. And a new fundraising campaign is underway for a civil rights museum in Decatur.
The Hebrew phrase Lador Vador means from generation to generation. One Jewish congregation in the heart of the Rocket City has been passing along traditions from generation to generation for 150 years.
Temple B'nai Shalom was formally founded in July of 1876. It was founded by 32 families. They came together because they believed that Judaism belonged in Huntsville.
After those 32 families first gathered 150 years ago, Temple B'nai Shalom is celebrating its sesquicentennial. The history behind the temple has developed over the years. The synagogue, located in downtown Huntsville, dates back to 1899.
Prior to that, the community met at the old Masonic Lodge. The sanctuary is very much a living and breathing piece of history.
Rabbi P.J. Schwartz says Temple B'nai Shalom has grown as the Rocket City has come to what we know it as today.
Many of our early founders and even congregants and descendants of congregants today have played such a pivotal role in Huntsville's growth and vibrancy.
Now, with 150th celebrations already underway, the passing of tradition generation to generation carries on.
To a lot of Jewish people, there's nothing more important than knowing our history and learning our values so that we can continue them on in a chain that never ends. So it is just like the joy of my life right now to pass it on to my daughter and watch her experience joy and feel like Temple is home.
When our founders decided to start our congregation, they did so for the children. They did so knowing that there needed to be a place for children to grow and learn and feel safe in being Jewish. In many ways, our founders started this out with this understanding that legacy was important. Passing down even our history as a congregation is a way to ensure that the legacy continues long after we are gone.
Temple B'nai Shalom will be celebrating their 150th anniversary throughout the next year. Rabbi P.J. Schwartz says one unique way they will be celebrating is with the commissioning of a new Torah scroll.
It's been 100 years, but stepping inside the building, you can still see the original architecture, the marble, and feel the history echoing through its halls.
When you look up and you just see all the brick and the exterior and just seeing all the windows and natural light, it's pretty special.
Construction began in 1926, with the building completed 2 years later in 1928. This year's celebration marks a century since that first shovel hit the ground. The building was one of Huntsville's first skyscrapers, rising 12 stories above downtown, and originally housed the Huntsville Times before the Scrimshire Company purchased it in 1984 and began preserving its historic character.
You're looking at a very strong structural concrete building that has lasted throughout the century, and this is the original marble in the building. And so, of course, we had to do some upgrades to get the building up to code, but we've been very excited to maintain a lot of the structure and integrity of the Art Deco style in the building that it is today.
Many of the building's tenants have also chosen to preserve its original charm, adding their own style without taking away from its history.
We wanted to basically kind of leave it the way it is because there's so much natural light and beauty that just comes from all the elements that were already here.
To help visitors fully step back in time, the SIP also curated a special menu of 1920s-inspired cocktails to match the building's vintage atmosphere.
We want to preserve everything, the history here, and what it's brought to Huntsville throughout the century, from it being the old Daily Times, from the newspaper, from the bowling alley in the basement to the dentist offices that were here, and then now to all the tenants that we have today.
A Decatur group holding a kickoff meeting looking to raise funding for a new Decatur-focused Scottsboro Boys Museum. Celebrating Early Old Town with Art, or CEOTA, held its capital campaign kickoff meeting as they look to raise $20 million to fund the Decatur Scottsboro Boys Civil Rights Museum. It'll also fund the Judge James E. Horton Jr. Legal Learning Center as the northern gateway to the Civil Rights Trail. For CEOTA member Jerry Baker, the mission of the Northern Gateway is to help connect the past to the present.
It's the idea of telling the story. It's the future posterity. It's the legacy that we have with regards to our younger generation. It's tying and bridging the gap, pulling it in, telling those old stories that are often overlooked and oftentimes missed. So what we want to do is to tell the story, make sure that we can understand the relevance of what it means for us today and the impact.
Among the attendees of today's meeting was State Senator Arthur Orr. Orr tells Fox 54 he believes the new museum is important, not just to showcase history, but to showcase Alabama's growth.
We learn from our history, and I think it's very important to do that, but it also projects a new image of Alabama, that the Alabama of the 1930s is certainly not the Alabama of the 2020s, and that's certainly something that we can invest in and get behind while we're telling the unpleasant history that occurred, but also we're a different state than we were then.
CEOTA hopes to raise $5 million in the first year before focusing on the next $15 million over the next 2 to 3 years. Thank you for watching Fox 54's Week in Review. Watch the Fox 54 app for more great programming with in-depth local specials, Locked On Sports, true crime, cooking shows, wellness experts, and continuing weather coverage. For everyone at Fox 54 News, I'm Kenesha Dees. Have a great weekend.